Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about 3 mistakes that I see commonly made among puppy owners. So these are mistakes that I have made myself in the past when I was raising puppies, and I want to bring them into the light today. That way, if you are making these mistakes, you can stop, and if you haven't started training your puppy yet, you can avoid these mistakes altogether. So the first one is I see puppy owners allowing the puppy to have full run of the house at too young of an age. Now, this is a little bit less of an age issue as it is more of a training issue, but most young puppies don't have very much training, so it's kind of both. I see puppy owners bringing home like 8-week-old puppies and giving them full run of the house, or maybe just full run of large portions of the house, and then they're surprised when they start having problems like, potty training issues, where the puppy just slips around the corner, goes to the bathroom, you didn't notice, or like running and grabbing things and running off with them, jumping on the counters, things like that. It's because when you bring home a young 8-week-old puppy, he doesn't know how he's supposed to act in the house yet. He doesn't have the skills he needs to have good house manners yet. And so I like to implement a management protocol by either 100% of the time, my puppy is either in his crate, on a tether, which would either be a tether station or a tether attached to me, like a leash, or I have 100% of my attention focused on him. So both of my eyes are watching him. These are his only 3 options when he's inside, because I want to prevent him from learning bad manners, learning bad problem behaviors that I'm going to have to untrain later. So I will keep a puppy on this protocol because if he's on a tether, he can't sneak around the corner and go to the bathroom. If he's on a tether, he can't jump on the counter and steal things. If he's on a tether, he can't grab something he's not supposed to chew on and run off with it. Or if he's in his crate, obviously he can't do those things either. So that is why I recommend tether training and crate training. Highly, highly, highly recommend those 2 things because they are absolutely essential to my success in raising a puppy not to have bad house manners. So I'm going to keep him on this protocol until he's probably like 5 or 6 months old, depending on the puppy, obviously. But at that point, he's going to have enough training that he's going to be able to start being able to handle more house freedom. So he's going to know leave it. He's going to know, to chew on his own things, those types of things. Then I'm going to slowly work up to more and more house freedom. So maybe at the first time I let him off his tether, he's going to have maybe 30 minutes of house freedom, depending on where his experience level is. And then I'm going to put him back on his tether and proceed like normal. And as he continues to mature and as he shows himself responsible in the house, he's going to have more and more time to run the house fully until he's able to run the house without any problems. During adolescence, you're probably going to see a backslide in his house manners. It's just common. He's going to you might have times when he's super excited. And that's one of the reasons why I highly recommend tether training, is because you can just put him on his tether and he can kind of chill there because he's already been tether trained, and you can just prevent him from having those, super excitable ideas the idea that it's okay to be super crazy and excitable in the house. Putting him on his tether, he's going to calm down, those types of things. So I highly recommend tether training, and that is the protocol that I use to prevent bad house manners in my puppies. I also talk about this in our online training program in more detail. So the next one is, put my slide here. The next one is, there we go. I see puppy owners assuming that a problem behavior will resolve on its own. The phrase, "when will he grow out of this?" tells me that the puppy owner is assuming it's just going to kind of go away on its own. This happens occasionally with some problem behaviors and some puppies. But for the most part, you're going to have to train through the problem sooner or later. So it's always easier to do it sooner. So things like play biting, that's a problem behavior. It's not going to just go away on its own without any intervention from you, any training from you. Dashing out the door, any problem behavior you can think of, it's going to need help working through. You're going to need to teach them what you want your puppy to do instead. I also see it kind of tied up in this. I also see puppy owners not asking their trainers about an issue that they think might be a problem. They think, well, it's really small. It's not a big issue right now. It'll go away. He'll probably grow out of it. Please ask your trainer. Ask your trainer if you have a question, even if it seems really small, because it might not really, your trainer knows what things don't need to be dealt with and what things really need to be dealt with really soon on. And you may not understand that. Your trainer has seen way more dogs than you have and seen way more problems than you have. So please, even if it seems like a super small thing that doesn't need their attention, go ahead and ask. Just ask. The worst thing that happens is they tell you, yeah, you're right. It's not that big of a deal. You don't have to worry about it. So please make sure to ask your trainer about problems, because you can save you a lot of headache later on. The next one that I see happening a lot is I see owners spending very little time training what they actually want their puppy to do. So I see a lot of people saying this, this problem behavior pops up. And they're like, how do I teach my puppy to stop jumping on people? Or how do I teach my puppy to, stop jumping on the counters? Or whatever the thing. It's usually, how do I teach my puppy to stop doing this? And not so much, how do I teach my puppy to do what I want instead? But I think a lot of, probably the reason why most puppy owners don't think about that is because most of them haven't really thought about what they want their puppy to do instead. And you can prevent these problem behaviors from, coming up if you spend, from the very beginning, when you first get your puppy, if you spend time teaching what you want, rewarding what you want if your puppy just naturally does it. For example, how do I get my puppy to stop jumping on people? You can prevent this problem from the very beginning, teaching your puppy how to properly greet people, to sit when he wants to be greeted. But you need to know that you want your puppy to sit. So it's kind of a two-step thing. You need to know what you want. How do you want your puppy to act in this situation? He's going to react. When he sees something he wants to bark at, are you okay with him barking? Do you want him to bark? Would you rather him be quiet instead of barking? Or maybe to give one bark and then be quiet when you tell him to be quiet? These are all things it's really good to think through, so that way you can spend your time training what you want before you have problems that you have to undo. So obviously when you stop and think about it, you're like, oh wow, why don't we spend more time teaching our puppies how to relax in the house? Because that's really what we want our dogs to do when they're adults. But we don't think about that because, well, it's not really a problem yet. They're just little, they're young. Whatever the case is. So this is something that I see puppy owners, glossing over and not thinking about. And I want to bring that to your attention. That way you can start training what you want from the very beginning. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and to share this anywhere else you think other puppy owners would benefit from it. Have a great day.